say now!
Imagine being so wealthy that the keys to your treasure alone were too heavy for a group of strong men to carry. Imagine living in a palace covered in gold, wearing clothes people could only dream of, having so much money that others looked at your life and hated their own. Now imagine losing all of it. Not slowly, not over years, in a single moment. The ground opens beneath your feet and swallows you whole. Alive, your wealth, your home, your legacy, gone. This isn't fiction. According to Islamic tradition, this happened to a man named Qarun, known in some traditions as Korah. A man so rich, his name became a symbol of unimaginable wealth and a warning about what happens when success turns into arrogance. But here's the mystery. Who was Qarun, really? How did he become one of the richest men in history? And if his treasure was buried with him, why has no one ever found it? Thousands of years ago, in the land of ancient Egypt during the time of Prophet Moses, there lived a man named Qarun. And what makes his story even more shocking is that he wasn't always corrupt. In fact, according to some historical narrations, Qarun was once deeply devoted to God. Some even describe him as a man of worship, a believer, a respected member of his community, someone people admired. But something changed. And like many tragic stories, it started with something deceptively small. Success. Then wealth. Then pride. And slowly, his heart began to drift. Away from gratitude. Away from humility. Away from God. This is where the mystery begins. Because no one knows exactly how Qarun became so wealthy. But historians and scholars have proposed several fascinating theories. Some believe he was a brilliant businessman, a master trader whose caravans moved across nations. Others suggest something even stranger, that he possessed knowledge of ancient alchemy, the legendary ability to transform ordinary metals into gold. Imagine that. Turning dust into fortune, metal into power. A third theory claims Qarun controlled gold mining itself, that he understood how to extract precious metals from the earth before anyone else. In today's world, companies control oil. In Qarun's world, he may have controlled gold. And when someone controls wealth at that level, they don't just gain money, they gain influence, power, status, and often they lose perspective. Islamic tradition describes Qarun's wealth as almost beyond imagination. His clothes were luxurious, his home was magnificent, his treasures were endless. But one detail stands out above everything else. The Quran tells us that the keys to his treasures alone were so heavy that a group of strong men struggled to carry them. Just the keys. Think about that. If the keys required multiple men, what must the treasure itself have looked like? People would stop in the streets just to watch him pass. And many whispered the same thing, "I wish I had what he has," and honestly, can you blame them? Even today, people worship wealth. Luxury cars, private jets, designer brands, followers, power. Not much has changed. But Qarun made a fatal mistake. He began to believe his wealth belonged entirely to him, that he had earned it, that he deserved it, that no one, not even God, had any claim over it. When he was commanded to give charity, to share a portion of his wealth, he refused. And according to the Quran, he said something chilling. "I was given this because of knowledge I possess." In other words, I built this myself. I did this, it's mine. And in that moment, gratitude turned into arrogance. Success turned into ego. And wealth became his idol. So did his hostility toward Prophet Moses. Some narrations say Qarun even tried to publicly disgrace him, using lies and manipulation. But truth has a way of exposing itself. And eventually, Qarun's rebellion reached its limit. Then came the moment no one expected. One ordinary day, Qarun stepped out in all his glory, surrounded by wealth, surrounded by admiration, surrounded by people wishing they could trade places with him. Then, everything changed. According to Islamic belief, God commanded the earth itself to act. The ground beneath Qarun began to tremble. Panic spread. People screamed. Qarun tried to escape, but his feet sank first, then his knees, then his waist, then his chest, and then he disappeared, swallowed alive. His wealth, his home, his treasures, everything, buried beneath the earth forever. The very riches he trusted became his grave. But here's where the mystery deepens. What happened to Qarun's treasure? Was it destroyed? Or is it still there, hidden somewhere beneath the earth? For centuries, people have searched. Some believe it lies somewhere in Egypt. Others claim ancient ruins near Lake Qarun are connected to him. Treasure hunters have explored. Researchers have speculated. Divers have searched beneath lakes and ruins. And yet, nothing. No treasure, no palace, no undeniable proof. It remains one of history's great unanswered mysteries. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the story was never meant to lead us to buried gold. Maybe it was meant to reveal something far more valuable. Because Qarun's story isn't really about money. It's about what money can do to the human heart. How success can quietly turn into arrogance. How blessings can become distractions. How a person can appear powerful while becoming spiritually empty. Today there are thousands of modern Qaruns. Different names, different industries, same pride, same illusion. And maybe the most terrifying part of this story isn't that Qarun was swallowed by the earth. It's that many people today are being swallowed by wealth, by ego, by materialism, without even realizing it. And by the time they do, it may already be too late. Because in the end, the question isn't how much you own.